The following contest is a second-round match in the Kings of Consoles tournament to determine the greatest game in the history of the Nintendo Entertainment System. 2 games enter, only one can advance. Introducing first, the 62nd seed, a 1985 beat-em-up from Nintendo, Kung Fu! And it's a third seed, a 1985 platformer from Nintendo, Super Mario Brothers. Tattoo and Ricky Gervais. There's nothing left to say, but round 2, fight.
Hello and welcome to episode 51 of Kings of Consoles. This is the podcast where we're trying to find the best game for each home video game console by means of giant tournaments. We are 15 weeks into the second round of our Nintendo Entertainment System tournament, where today we will see the number 3 overall seed, Super Mario Brothers, as it takes on the number 62 seed, Kung Fu. I'm Pat Dooley.
I'm Ricky Geraldo.
So yeah, we've made it. We're halfway through. 50 games down, 50 to go. And after this one,
here we go.
51 and 49, and it's all just going to be, downhill from here. We're building up momentum toward that final. So we always start by talking about the underdog, which in this case is Kung Fu, which IGN has number 62 on their list of the 100 best games for the NES, which is how we came up with the seeds for our bracket. It is a 1985 beat 'em up from Nintendo, and we played it way back in episode 2 when it beat Deep Sigh Kicks.
Kicks, the worst game created.
Still 50 or 49 weeks later, still among the worst games I've ever played.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like Kung Fu is not that great either. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very much, it's a launch title, so it's very, very basic.
And I know, like, there's people till this day that brings up Kung Fu.
Yeah,
like people love this game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of one of them. Like it's this was probably the second NES game I ever played after we got our console in 1985, 86, whenever that was. Like I love Kung Fu, but with whatever 36 years of hindsight, like it's definitely not without its flaws. I did make I have a few notes. A lot of it is stuff that we already covered, way back in episode 2. So we're not going to go into a ton of detail about it. But it is still a little annoying. The whole, you rescue Sylvia and then wait, no, you didn't. You got to start all over again harder. That's still annoying. If you're going to do that, just add more levels rather than making me play the same 5 just harder. Just give me 10 different levels.
But then again, dude, like this is a Nintendo launch title. Nintendo launch title.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure they are just learning how to use the system.
That's true. But I mean, Super Mario Brothers has 32 levels.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. You know what? No excuse.
Duck Hunt has 99. Of course, Duck Hunt is much simpler than Kung Fu. I did make a note this time that I wish everyone and not just the bosses had a laugh if they killed you. Like, when Mr. X kills you, he's got that ha 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 ha, and the giant black dude at the end of level 3 has I thought it would just be kind of funny if like the tiny little somersault dudes were like or like the snakes or the dragons laughed at you, or the bugs. I don't know. These are the things I think about when playing through Kung Fu for the 3,000th time in my life.
I was like, Pat, man, that's not
Yeah, no, it's
So
just
that's
your
serious.
mind wanders. I'm not having to think about button presses, so that's just where I go in my head.
Oh, so funny.
I'm no expert on kung fu movies, but I don't remember Bruce Lee being attacked by bad guys who just wanted a hug. That was, other than the
This
guy,
is true.
like there are literally 2 ways that non-bosses will attack you, or 3. They will somersault onto your head, they will hug you, or they will throw knives at you. Or I should specify human non-bosses, because there's also bugs and snakes and dragons and confetti balls that will attack you as well. But yeah, it's very weird. It's very, very basic. I'd say it probably is, it probably can all be chalked up, like you said, to it being a launch title, and they're still figuring out what the platform can do. And it is a little more graphically involved than Super Mario Brothers. Like they're much more recognizable human forms rather than, Mario's just kind of generic looking. And then it's all, kind of basic animal forms. But yeah, I mean, it's about all I've got for Kung Fu in terms of notes.
Yeah.
It's good. But it has probably hit the end of its line at this point.
And I'm pretty sure, like, when we first played it, we both, if I remember, we both got to the same place. Like, we beat it all once,
Mm-hmm.
and we were just going through it again.
Yep.
And yeah, if you don't know what it is and you started listening now, basically it's just like one of the first beat 'em ups, kind of.
Yeah.
Like a side-scrolling beat 'em up kind of game.
Pretty much.
Kind of
Yeah,
like Double Dragon or
Streets of Rage or Final Fight, or just kind of, you walk and enemies come after you and you punch them or you kick them or you jump
or
and
you
kick
duck,
them or
right?
you crouch and punch them in the groin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, but it's repetitive, and it's very 1985 in its execution. On the other end,
it is though. Yeah, it is very popular.
Yes. On the other end of the spectrum is another 1985 NES launch title, a platformer, also from Nintendo. Mario and his brother Luigi the Super Mario Brothers, travel the Mushroom Kingdom to rescue Princess Toadstool from the evil King Koopa. Yes, this is Super Mario Brothers, the originator. The soundtrack is by Koji Kondo, and it's still considered one of the most iconic in video game history. Going back to a frequent topic of discussion on this show, the opening level of Super Mario Brothers is essentially the first tutorial level. In an interview with the Eurogamer, creator Shigeru Miyamoto explained that he created World 1-1 to contain everything a player needs to, quote, gradually and naturally understand what they're doing, so that they can quickly understand how the game works. According to Miyamoto, once the player understands the mechanics of the game, the player will be able to play more freely, and it becomes, quote, their game. So I just thought that was kind of cool. We've talked so much about how so many of these games just kind of drop you in. Like, oh wait, what am I supposed to be doing? Oh, and now I'm dead. Mario, you get a little bit of wiggle room to play around with the running and jumping before you encounter your first, you have to leave the screen to fight your first Goomba or to jump onto a block. There's room to run and jump.
Yeah.
In 1990, a study taken in North America suggested that more children in the United States were familiar with Mario than they were with Mickey Mouse. Nintendo Power calls it the 4th best NES game ever. Obviously, IGN has a 3rd. G4 called it the best. Game Informer called it the 2nd best. Electronic Gaming Monthly called it the best game ever made. EGM and G4 were both best ever. Game Informer called it the 2nd best game ever. Nintendo Power and IGN's were NES specific. My modifier was dangling in a weird place there. But there have been 23 core Super Mario games, about 25 puzzle games, 16 role-playing games, 16 games in the Mario Party franchise, 28 sports games, 17 racing games, and 8 educational games. So if you're doing the math quickly in your head, you're looking at about 125 games inspired by Mario in the last 36 years.
Jesus.
So,
And that's just Mario games. Like this game inspired,
oh yeah,
man, Sonic the Hedgehog,
uh-huh,
Mega Man, probably,
yep.
kind of just any mascot game, Crash Bandicoot, all of them. They all want to be like Mario.
Halo. Nah, I'm kidding.
I mean, yeah.
Probably more accurately, Little Big Planet. If we're going that generation route. But yeah, I mean, every platformer owes a debt to Super Mario Brothers, because I mean, you think about it, it's considered the first game of the third generation of game consoles, and the second one had almost ruined the entire industry. When the Atari crashed in 1983, it looked like video games were done, like that it was a fad, that, you know, it just was never going to be anything again. And then Nintendo comes up with Mario, and it's like, oh, it's so colorful, and there's music, and like and you compare that to the games you were playing on Atari, and it just, you know, blew you away. Compare this to like a Pitfall or a, you know, heaven forbid, an ET. I'll just rock your world.
Got it. An ET. Yeah. I mean, what can we say, Pat? Like, this game is gaming. Like, this is what video games are all about. Like, this is what, for me, this and Tetris are like,
yeah,
I don't know.
No, I would 100% agree with that, because that really, like, this is the game that made console gaming valid. Like this, this made, like, every video game system for an entire generation was a Nintendo, whether it was actually Nintendo or, you know, if it was Sega or Sony. Like, not my parents specifically, but I feel like a lot of my parents' generation call any game a Nintendo. Like, that's just, you know, it's like Kleenex for facial tissue or Xerox for copy machines. Nintendo just is what it is. And then the Game Boy, which Tetris helped, you know, turn into a phenomenon, revolutionized handheld gaming. Because before that, you were playing the little crappy, like the Tiger Electronics games that barely did anything, or Game and Watch. This, you know, it was a revolution in the way games were played. And now you've got, you know, the Switch is a handheld console. Like, it's just amazing. And probably none of that would have happened if Super Mario Brothers had failed. If the NES had launched and been dead, had been another Atari, I mean, we wouldn't be doing this
we wouldn't
podcast.
have any of that. Yeah, you're right.
So
I don't think there's not a lot to say that people don't know, except probably. I mean, what do you think? Do you think it still holds up?
It's hard to say, because it is, like, so ubiquitous. I don't know if I had never played this before and I had grown up playing, like, if I was my 6-year-old nephew, and I've been raised playing, you know, new Super Mario Brothers on Wii or on Switch, and, you know, all of these games, and then you put me down in front of this, it doesn't have the same impact that it did, you know, on us when we were kids, and this was the hot new thing. I mean, it came out 3 years before you were born, but you were caught up in you were more of the Super Nintendo generation, but it was still kind of a new thing.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I was thinking about it recently. Like, do kids now know who? Like, I mean, I don't remember a time I don't know who Super Mario is.
I mean, there's, literally, he predates you by 3 years. Like,
so I'm just wondering if kids now, like, because it's not like kids can play the old. I mean, they can,
right?
But now they're playing like Mario Odyssey or
right.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm curious, and if listeners, if you have kids and they know Mario from young, like how do they get there?
Yeah.
Do they play? Are they playing these old games? I mean, I bet. But,
probably. I mean, if their parents are gamers, then they've probably got a Switch, and they're probably using the Nintendo Online to play the classics. And like, hey, when I was a kid, this is what we were playing instead of Mario Odyssey, or this is what Zelda looked like before Breath of the Wild. This is what
that
Mega Man was
totally
doing before Smash Brothers.
About the Switch Online, that they have all of these games. So
yeah.
I
mean, a lot of my notes are really specific, just like about things in levels and stuff, because like the overview of the game, like there's really not much to say about it. The soundtrack is still incredible.
Great.
I mean, it's the most iconic. We talked about this on previous episodes, that just 8-bit music is just so good because they were limited with what they had, so they had to make it catchy. Because other than sound effects, that was the only auditory input you were getting from the game was the music, and so you get dun, 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 right off the bat, as soon as you press start, the most iconic opening of any video game ever, that music hits, and you're just like, oh yeah, this is gaming.
Yeah, it's like, this is Mario.
I will, before we get, because we'll get into who made it farther later.
Yeah.
I do want to admit something off the top, which is that because of ongoing issues with my controller on my NES, I had to play the emulator on this one. And apparently the ROM that I have had, how at the end of level 3-1, there's like the staircase with the Koopas, and you can jump on, if you just like bounce up and down on one of them over and over and over again, you can just rack up essentially infinite lives. I think it maxes out at 99. This ROM had that built in, so it started with 99 lives. I would have gotten them through the 3-1 cheat anyway, just because I knew that was a thing that could happen, but I wanted to be upfront about the fact that I did play with the 99 lives.
The 99, I did too.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
So, I wonder if, does the Nintendo Online version have that? Or does it start you with just the 3?
I think it starts you with the 3.
Okay.
I'm not sure. My Nintendo Classic, where I play all these games, has, the original.
Right.
It has the Super Nintendo version, and
just
it had the 99. Yeah.
Okay.
But it starts you with the 3. But yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, because of that, I got to see a lot more of the game than I probably would have if I was having to start over every 3 lives. But it's cool how much of what we still know as Mario was there from the start. You've got, the princess and Toad and Bowser, the Koopa Troopas, Goombas, but even like Lakitu and the Piranha Plants. Like, Piranha Plants have had a major makeover over the last 3.5 decades. They look way different now than they did then, but they were there. The Hammer Brothers,
brothers were there.
Even from the beginning, were some of the most annoying enemies in games.
I'm pretty sure the Skeletons guys were there. What were they called? Bones?
Dry Bones? I don't think...
Yeah.
There was something like Dry Bones in this, the little black things, the Buzzy Beetles. I don't think Dry Bones shows up until Mario 3.
I think you're right.
I remember right. But yeah, I mean, the Cheeps, those like the flying bird or flying fish are in it. Like level 2, 3, where you're just like running across bridges with Cheeps flying out of everywhere. It's like raining birds. It's a little terrifying. Oh, the bloopers, the little squid things, those are still around. Those have been around since 1985.
Yeah, I mean, very iconic.
Yeah.
It's an iconic game, man. It's just like,
yeah. I mean, even the underwater levels aren't as terrible as a lot of other underwater levels are. They still suck. but they're still the worst part of this. But that's, considering some of the underwater levels we've played, this is a really good one. Or all the ones in this are all very good. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have that much else to say about the game itself. Do we want to go ahead and have Rhino sing us into the next segment?
Let's do it.
Who made it for them? Who made it for them?
In Kung Fu, you were talking earlier about how we both made it to the same spot last time.
Yeah.
And then about the same this time. I died in the exact same spot this time. The second fight against the third boss. So
After you beat it the first time.
after I beat it the first time. So I made it through once, and then I beat the first 2 levels, and then I made it to the giant dude at the end of level 3, and he killed me, and I had to start back over because of game over.
So I made it to level 2 the second time. So you beat me with this one.
Heck yeah.
You got, I to be honest, I wasn't trying hard. I was like, okay, I mean, I need to play Mario.
Priorities.
Right?
So yeah. So how about that, Mario? With your 99 lives, how far did you make it in your 2 hours?
I hope you did too, because we had 2 hours. I hope you beat it.
I made it to 8-2.
Pat,
I died 2
this
levels
game is
before
old
the end
as
of the game.
time. How do you not beat? Like, I've beaten this game before the 99.
I couldn't make the jump in 8-2 where there's a pipe with a piranha plant and then a gap of a block, something to stand on, another gap, something to stand on, and then a really long jump where you have to like get a running start, run across the gaps, and then jump at the last possible pixel on that second tiny platform. I died many, many, many times trying to make that jump. And did not.
Wow.
But I also, that time, I forgot about the warp zone at the end of 1-2.
Yeah.
That will take you to level 4, and then from there you can go to 5 and then play through. I forgot about that. So I lost some lives along the way through worlds 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Right.
If I had those still at 8-2, I probably would have beaten it because I knew what I had to do that jump. I just ran out of lives before I could actually make it. But then after that game over, I still had some time left over. So I did hit the warp zone in 1-2, warped to 4, hit the warp zone in 4-2 to go to 5. And then I made it to 7-4 again when time ran out. So I was going to beat it that time because I had a whole bunch more lives left over that second time around. But yeah. So it's another split. Your 6-game lead remains.
Yeah, well, what's funny was I thought we were going to talk about how fast we beat it. So I recorded how long it took me to beat the game.
Okay.
And it was 1 hour and 6 minutes and 52 seconds.
Nice. I ran out of lives at about the 123 mark, I think. So you still would have got there faster than I did. Did you use the warp zones?
No. I think so. This month, I don't know if you saw this or it was before March. I think it's about to end, but Mario came out with like a Tetris 99 type of game.
Yeah, Mario 35.
Mario 35, and you just go through Mario 1 and you try to beat it. So I guess that game prepped me for all this stuff, and yeah, I was able to. Granted, I've beaten the game before, but not like I tried to rush it this time. Right. I really did. And the sad thing is people beat this game in like 30 minutes. Like I'm not even close to where I'm supposed to beat it.
Yeah, speedrunners on this game are just insane. But it is, it's muscle memory for generations.
That's what it really is. It really is. You just gotta time your jumps and
Yep.
know when to get big, stay small.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yep.
yeah. Super Mario, man.
You got me beat there.
Well, next time we play it, wink, wink.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's just go ahead and I mean it's Kung Fu is fun, but it's got to be Super Mario Brothers.
It has to.
It has to. So we know it will face the winner between Mega Man and Star Tropics in round 3. So that we're pretty much exactly 2 months away from that matchup because this is the first week of Super Marchio. That will be the first week of Mega Man May, which is coming back again after last year. And hopefully Mega Man can pull up the clean sweep this time because it didn't last time with Rescue Rangers beating Mega Man 6 at the very end of the month. And now Rescue Rangers has gone on and beaten Punch-Out and is just, tearing its way through the tournament as the 71 seed or whatever it is. Pretty wild. Speaking of Punch-Out, we did get some feedback from Ryan O, who asked, which fictional character would you like to see fight Mike Tyson in a video game? So I like that he didn't specify at all and said fictional character, because it means we're not limited to like, oh yeah, I want to see him fight, Shadow the Hedgehog or Sephiroth. Like it can be any fictional character. So who is your most hated fictional character that you want to see 8-bit Mike Tyson just crush?
I mean, I would like to see. I mean, how cool would it be, Balrog from Street Fighter?
Oh, that would be cool.
Mike Tyson. It's like,
the
cool. Character who inspired the character is fighting.
All right.
That's what I had.
That was not how I was reading that question, but yeah, that would be a fun fight, because I was thinking more along the lines of shoot, I'm blanking on the character's name now. I was just thinking of it. Game of Thrones.
Oh my god, Joffrey.
Not Joffrey. Joffrey was my first thought, but then the more I thought about it, there's actually a character I hate more on Game of Thrones than Joffrey. From the Iron Isles, the guy,
the guy who the dogs ate him.
Yes, that turned Theon into Reek.
You're right.
Why can't I think of his name?
I know his name in Inhumans.
Yes,
he plays Maximus.
It was Maximus in Inhumans. That's right. I had blocked that from my. That's the thing the MCU wants you to forget. Ramsay Bolton.
Ramsay.
What's the character's name? Oh yeah, he was also in Misfits. That was a good show. Should go back and rewatch that sometime. But yeah.
Was he? No.
But yeah, Ramsay Bolton. I want to see him try and stand toe to toe with Iron Mike, and
that'd be great.
Just get obliterated.
Or you know what? The Mountain versus Mike, man. Let's have.
Yeah, hopefully Tyson doesn't celebrate his victory too early, like the Viper did.
Oh man, too soon.
Poor Mando.
Oh, don't worry. He has more suffering coming.
That's right.
If he's playing Joel, so
that's right.
So,
yeah, I love the memes that are going around like, okay, so we need somebody who can play like a grizzled father figure taking a special child across dangerous landscapes with people trying to kill it. Like, who do we get for that?
Baby Yoda.
That's right. And that even ties back into Game of Thrones, because The girl playing Ellie was
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
again, I'm blanking on Lyra.
Yeah.
No, Lyra's the girl from his Dark Materials.
Well, she ended up being the Giant Slayer. So
yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. So nice video game pedigree there. Yeah. I'm trying to think of. I really don't have what.
That show is going to be something else, man.
I'm excited. I'm a little terrified, like the internet being what it is. Like it's gonna just get so much crap, and it already kind of is. Like, Joel's a white guy, but
yeah.
But that's the internet. You know, if you really want to feel discouraged about life, read the comment section of any post about the new Batwoman. Which is not a very good show, but not for the reasons that people hate it online. Some people have valid criticisms of it in that it's, badly written and acted. But anyway, I digress. I honestly don't really have anything else to say about either of these games. We will be back next week as Super Marchio rolls on, where the number 18 seed Super Mario Brothers 2 takes on number 47 Vice Project Doom. You can see the entire bracket at challenge.com/Kings of Consoles. We update that every week with the previous week's results. So because we did a 2 for last week, you can now see that this episode has been posted. Both Chippendale Rescue Rangers having beaten Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, and Dragon Warrior 4 having beaten Metal Gear to set up a round 3 matchup between those two games. And then next week, when that Mario 2 Vice Project Doom episode comes out, you'll be able to see Super Mario Brothers having moved on as well. You can watch me stream these games on twitch.tv/Kings of Consoles. I try to do that every Monday night. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Kings of Consoles, on Twitter @Kings of Consoles. Personally, I'm @LoopyDate.
I'm at RickyGN7.
You can send us an email, kingsofconsolespod@gmail.com. You can also contribute to the show financially, ko-fi.com/Kings of Consoles. If you want to throw a couple bucks our way, we would appreciate that. Aside from that, we will see you guys next week. Happy Super Marchio, and play old games.
Play old games, everyone.
Kings of Consoles is recorded in Nashville and Orlando and is produced and edited by me, Ed. Thanks to Captain Portal for our theme song, intro for a non-existent video game, which can be found at freemusicarchive.org. And the music and sound effects from this week's games can be found with a quick Google search. The opinions expressed in this and every episode are our own, and we are in no way sponsored by or affiliated